So tell me, have you ever reacted in a way that completely surprised you? Maybe you snapped at someone you love, or maybe you suddenly felt the urge to run out of the room, or your mind went blank in a very important moment, or you found yourself saying yes when every part of you wanted to say no. See, before you judge yourself for those reactions, just stay with me for a moment. What if I tell you that those responses are not the flaws of your personality, but signs that your nervous system picked up along its way when you were growing up in order to make you survive? Think about a time when you felt deeply unsafe, overwhelmed, or emotionally hurt. It doesn't have to be something very big. See, trauma is not only about being big or visible events. Sometimes it is about repeated criticism, emotional neglect, or unappreciated environment, or your unheard feelings for a very long time. When something feels threatening, your body does not sit down and think logically. It reacts and it chooses survival. One common response to the trauma is fight. This does not always mean physical aggression. It can show up as anger, as defensiveness or controlling behavior, or your need to prove yourself right every single time. If you notice that you get irritated very quickly or feel the urge to argue when you are criticized, this could be your fight response. Deep inside, your system might be saying that in order to protect myself, I will have to prove that I am right. Anger in this case is not evil. It is an armor that you are using. Another response is flight. This is the energy of escape. If you can look like overworking or constantly staying busy and avoiding difficult conversations or distracting yourself with your phone. If you notice that you feel uncomfortable sitting still with your emotions, or you rush to fix things just quickly to reduce your anxiety, that might be your flight. Your body is trying to outturn the discomfort. And then there is freeze. Freeze can feel heavy and confusing. It might show up as zoning out or procrastinating, feeling numb or being unable to make decisions. Think about a time when you wanted to speak, but your words just could not come out, or when you felt stuck even though you knew what needed to be done. Freeze is not laziness. It is the nervous system saying that this feels too much, so I should shut down in order to survive. Then there is also fawn. It is a response that many people do not talk about enough. Fawn is when you try to stay safe by pleasing others. You agree too quickly, you avoid conflict at all costs, and you prioritize other people's comfort over your own needs. If you notice that you feel guilty setting boundaries or fear that someone will leave if you disappoint them, this could be your fawn response. At some point, your nervous system learned that connection is safety for you, even if meant abandoning yourself. In this case, you crave the approval of others more than you crave or respect the approval of yourself. None of these responses mean that you are weak. They mean that you are human. They mean that your body once did its best to keep you safe. The problem is not that you have these responses. The problem is that they can continue long after the original danger is gone. If you notice yourself reacting strongly to small triggers or anything else, just pause gently, and instead of saying that what is wrong with me, try asking that what am I protecting? Once you reflect onto this simple question, it will change everything. Not very quickly, but over a period of time. It moves you from shame to curiosity. Healing does not begin with forcing yourself to be calm or positive. It begins with awareness. When you can say that this is my fight response or this is my freeze response, you can create a little space between you and the reaction. Think about how powerful that is. You are not your trauma response in that space. You are the one noticing it. And the moment you notice, you begin to reclaim your power. As you move through your day, pay attention gently. If you snap, if you withdraw, if you overextend yourself to others, do not rush to criticize yourself. Place a hand on your heart and ask if you can. Take a slow breath and remind yourself that your nervous system is just trying to protect you, even if the strategy is outdated. Understanding your trauma responses is not about labeling yourself. It is about meeting yourself with compassion. It is about realizing that your reactions make sense in the context of what you have lived through over the years. And when you start responding with awareness instead of reacting from survival, something beautiful is going to happen. You begin to feel safer inside your own body. You begin to trust yourself again. And that is where real healing begins. It is not in perfection, it is not in control, but in gentle understanding and acceptance of yourself.